In front of everyone, her parents, our friends, my colleagues, she stepped up to the microphone, smiled like a movie star, and dropped a line I'll never forget. I'm finally free. He was just a safety net. A paycheck. My real life begins now. Then she raised her glass, smirked like the devil herself, and bathed in the gasps around her. I didn't flinch. I stood still as her words settled over the stunned crowd like smoke after a fire. My hand didn't tremble. My jaw didn't clench. But something inside me, something primal, ancient, snapped. It was supposed to be our anniversary party. 10 years. 10 goddamn years of marriage. My name is Eric Monroe. I'm 37. Financial advisor, veteran, man of routine. I plan, I protect, I provide. Her name is Madison. 34. PR executive. Dangerous smile, flawless Instagram. A woman who could charm thunder out of the sky if she wanted. And tonight, she detonated our entire life with a single sentence. You know what the cruelest part was? I organized this event, paid for the venue, booked the string quartet, even flew her mother in from Phoenix, just so she could be here for our milestone moment. I even bought her a bracelet she bookmarked a year ago, thinking she'd forgotten. She didn't forget. She just waited for the perfect crowd to burn me alive. Everyone stood frozen, holding their champagne like shields. Madison handed the mic to the DJ like she just won an award. Her dress glittered under the chandeliers, and her eyes scanned the room like a hunter checking if her prey was fully down. I didn't speak. I simply walked. The clinks of my shoes across the ballroom floor were the only sound until the double doors creaked shut behind me. Then came the silence. Heavy, collective, thick with disbelief. And I smiled. Not out of pain, not out of weakness, but because I already knew. I knew 2 nights ago. I had been suspecting something for months. Late meetings, hidden smiles, the way she flinched when I touched her phone. But I kept telling myself, no, she's just busy, stressed. Madison's not like that. But Madison is like that. 2 nights ago, I got home early from a client dinner. I opened the door and heard laughter. Male laughter. I moved quietly. My instincts kicked in, military reflexes. I didn't rush. I didn't call out. I just followed the sound. The laughter wasn't coming from the living room. It came from our bedroom. I paused. The door was slightly open. I saw shadows. 2 wine glasses on the nightstand. And her voice. Low, breathy. The voice she used when she was trying to get what she wanted. I didn't barge in. I didn't cause a scene. I stepped back and left without a word. That's when I made my plan. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to let her think she won. And then I'd take everything back. So when she made that announcement tonight, thinking she was shattering me in front of everyone I knew, I just smiled. Because she didn't know what was coming. She didn't know I'd hired a private investigator 3 months ago. She didn't know I already had photos, video, call logs. She didn't know the prenup had a morality clause. And she sure as hell didn't know I moved all my assets out of our joint accounts yesterday. She played the final move in a game I finished 2 days before. Now the real story begins. You don't wake up one day and decide your wife is cheating. It's slower, sicker, like a dripping faucet in the back of your mind that won't let you sleep. I think it started the night she came home late wearing lipstick that didn't match the one she left with. Small detail, right? But I noticed things. I spent 6 years in Afghanistan. Noticing things kept me alive. She said she was with the girls. Said it with that tired voice. That lazy smirk. That invisible wall she throws up when she knows I'm suspicious but doesn't give a damn. I remember staring at her coat. It reeked of expensive cologne. Not hers. Not mine. And I remember how she didn't even take off her heels before walking straight to the bathroom, locking the door, and turning on the shower like she needed to wash someone else off her skin. That was the moment I knew. But I needed proof. Not to scream. Not to cry. Just to document what my instincts were already screaming. I called Marcus. Old army buddy turned PI. Doesn't talk much, but the man's a bloodhound. I gave him the green light. Follow her. Discreetly. No confrontation. Just facts. He called me 3 days later. She's not careful. I've got plenty. Who? I asked. Someone from her firm. Big name. Jason Carter. Jason F*** King Carter. Tall. Sleek. Ivy League. Drives a Tesla and walks like the world owes him a thank you. I met him once at one of Madison's charity galas. He shook my hand like I was invisible. They'd been meeting at a hotel downtown. Not even clever. Not even ashamed. I didn't feel rage when Marcus sent me the pictures. I felt still, like a part of me detached, watched it from outside my body. There she was, smiling like she used to smile at me. Only this time it wasn't for me. There she was, wearing the black coat I bought her for our 5th anniversary, falling into his arms like a schoolgirl. There she was, laughing, kissing, slipping her hand into his like they'd done it 1,000 times. I stared at those images for hours. Alone, silent, not crying, not yelling, just absorbing. It's strange how your world can collapse, and yet the clock doesn't stop ticking. That night, I lay next to her in bed, pretending to sleep while she scrolled through her phone with her screen dimmed. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. I looked at her face. So peaceful. She was dreaming. Maybe of him. Maybe of their next secret rendezvous. And me? I was planning her goodbye. I didn't want revenge. I wanted silence. Not the kind that comes with distance. The kind that comes when a woman realizes too late that she set her own trap and stepped in it barefoot. I kissed her shoulder once that night, gently. Not out of love. Out of closure, by morning, I was no longer the man she thought she married. Something had shifted. A wire inside had snapped and rewired itself into something sharper, quieter, colder. She greeted me with a kiss on the cheek, habitual, soulless, and poured her usual oat milk latte like nothing had changed. I played along. Let her believe the mask was still intact. Because this wasn't just about an affair anymore. This was about disrespect, betrayal, and control. She hadn't just lied. She performed the lie. With flair. With laughter. With smug entitlement. And I'd let her do it for too long. I spent the next week preparing. Step 1. Finances. I contacted my attorney, Lauren, sharp as a scalpel and twice as dangerous. I told her everything. Gave her the prenup, the clause about infidelity. She breaks the agreement. I told Lauren. She walks away with nothing but the memories. Lauren smiled. Let her hang herself. We'll be ready. Step 2. The assets. I moved money into private accounts. Transferred my name off the house, into a trust. Same with the cars, the stocks, the vacation property. All airtight, all legal. She wouldn't see a dime. Step 3. The audience. If she wanted to turn our lives into a public performance, I'd make sure she got the spotlight. Our anniversary party was already planned. Venue, invites, catering. I kept it all. Let it happen. Gave her the perfect setup. Because I knew she couldn't resist a stage. Madison loved attention more than honesty. She'd been dying to say something bold, shocking. And I wanted her to. Let her announce it. Let her destroy the illusion with her own words. The night before the event, she stayed out again. Said she was working late. Didn't even text goodnight. She walked in at 2:47 a.m. I was sitting in the dark, sipping scotch. Still awake? She asked, kicking off her heels. I nodded slowly. Just thinking. She didn't ask what about. She never did. Madison only cared about things when they affected her directly. She went to bed. I watched her sleep again. Not with sadness. Not even hatred. Just precision. Like a man observing a locked target. The next day, she wore a silver dress that shimmered like betrayal. I wore black. Classic. Clean. Controlled. I greeted every guest. Smiled. Played the devoted husband. The proud host. And she basked. Posed for selfies. Sipped champagne. Threw glances at Jason from across the room like I was blind. She thought I didn't see. She thought I was still the quiet, loyal man who'd smile and swallow his pride. But I had already drafted the exit. Her script was just beginning. And I was about to let her read it aloud to the world. When she took the stage, I knew the moment had come. The wine had made her bold. The whispers from her little circle of fake friends had made her reckless. And the presence of Jason, standing near the back with his smug grin, had inflated her ego just enough. She didn't even glance at me before stepping up to the mic. I watched her heels click across the floor, each step echoing like a countdown. She tapped the microphone, let her smile stretch, then said, 10 years. That's a long time to pretend. The room fell still. She continued, but I think tonight is a good time to stop pretending. I've outgrown this life. I've outgrown the man I used to love. And frankly, I deserve better. I deserve real passion. Not paperwork and punctual dinners. Some gasped. Some laughed nervously. Some looked at me, waiting. But I didn't move. I didn't blink. I watched her destroy her own castle brick by brick. I've been quiet for too long, she said, raising her glass, but not anymore. I'm finally free. He was just a safety net. A paycheck. My real life begins now. Laughter. One or two claps from the clueless. Jason's smirk widened. Her father looked like he wanted to evaporate. And me? I stood up, buttoned my jacket, and walked to the exit without a word. Just before the doors closed behind me, I heard it. Silence. Not a single word followed. Not a breath. Her performance ended, and the lights dimmed on her moment. That silence wasn't confusion. It was judgment. People weren't stunned by her truth. They were appalled by her cruelty. I got in my car, drove through the night. Not out of rage, out of release. I had seen everything I needed. She'd given me the finale I was waiting for. When I got home, I opened my laptop, pulled up the email from Lauren. Subject, final draft, divorce papers, morality clause active. I clicked forward, typed in Madison's email, attached the folder from the private investigator, timestamped pictures, hotel bills, call logs. No message in the body, just the documents. Then I added Jason's email too. Let him see what she didn't tell him. Let him see what comes next. Click. Send. It was poetic, really. She thought the microphone was her weapon. But I had the paper trail. I slept that night. Deeply. Peacefully. For the first time in months. In the morning, I woke up to 12 missed calls. 5 from Madison. 3 from Jason. The rest from people at the party. No response. No explanation. No need. Because in 24 hours, everything she pretended to own, the house, the car, the lifestyle, would be stripped away. Legally. Completely. Silently. And all she'd have left was the echo of her own voice to be why noon the next day, Madison's curated life had begun to unravel. She arrived home in a rage. I could hear her heels stomping down the hallway before the front door even opened. She didn't knock. She still thought she had keys to a world that no longer belonged to her. She slammed the door behind her. You really sent that to Jason? Are you out of your goddamn mind? I looked up from my coffee. Calm. Silent. She was wearing the same dress from the party, now wrinkled, her makeup smudged from either tears or fury. Probably both. You humiliated me, she hissed. I didn't respond. I just placed a folder on the kitchen counter. What's this? Your exit, I said. Prenup enforcement. Full documentation. Everything's filed. She froze. You can't be serious. You're really doing this, she scoffed. Over a few mistakes? I smiled. Madison, you stood on stage and said I was just a paycheck. I'm just making it official. She flipped open the folder, scanning through the documents like she was hoping to find a loophole, a crack in my resolve. Everything was mine too, she muttered. The house, the Range Rover, the Hampton place. No, I said firmly. They were ours. Until you broke the contract. You lied. You cheated. You performed. And now, you're dismissed. You can't do this to me. I gave you my best years. I raised an eyebrow. No, Madison. You sold those years to the highest bidder. And I just outbid him with the truth. She started pacing, frantic now. Jason won't want this kind of drama. God, he's married too. He told me. He told me he'd leave her. I laughed. First time I had in weeks. Did he now? Interesting. Because his wife got the same folder you did. With a few bonus pages. She stopped dead. You're lying. No, I said. You see, I don't need to lie. That's your thing. Her face twisted. Not with sadness. Not with shame. With panic. What am I supposed to do now? She whispered. I stood, picked up my keys, and walked to the door. You're going to pack your things. You've got 24 hours. You're kicking me out. No, I said over my shoulder. I'm releasing you. You're finally free, remember? I left her standing there in the ruins of her fantasy. And I didn't look back. Later that evening, I got a call from her sister, Lauren, the only decent one in her family. She's calling everyone, she said. Playing the victim. Crying nonstop. But no one's buying it, Eric. Everyone saw what she did. And honestly, good for you. That night, I poured a glass of bourbon, walked out to the balcony, and watched the city lights blink back at me. There was still pain. Still betrayal clinging to the edges. But there was also peace. And I hadn't felt that in a very, very long time. The next 24 hours were an unexpected performance. Except this time, the stage was empty, the lights were off, and there was no audience left to applaud her. Madison didn't pack quietly. She slammed drawers, shouted profanities at the walls, called me names that once would have cut me. Now they just bounced off like raindrops on armor. She tried everything. First, the tears. Crocodile, of course. She sat on the edge of our bed, my bed now, clutching an old wedding photo like it had meaning. Her mascara ran down her cheeks as she whispered, "Do you really want to throw it all away over one mistake?" "One mistake," I replied calmly. "Which one? The hotel on Fifth? The one in Soho? Or the rooftop bar you thought I didn't know about?" She froze, eyes narrowing like I had betrayed her. Then came the rage. "You cold-hearted bastard. I gave you everything. You gave me a lie with perfect makeup," I said. "You sold truth for validation. You traded love for power. And you're surprised there's a price?" She screamed into a pillow, then moved to manipulation. "I'm not leaving," she said suddenly, arms crossed, fire in her eyes. "You'll have to drag me out." I showed her the eviction order, signed by a judge that morning. "I'm not dragging anything," I replied. "But the sheriff will." That did it. She stormed back into the closet and started yanking clothes off hangers like she was fighting ghosts. I watched silently from the hallway, not with cruelty, but with clarity. It was the first time in years I'd seen her without a mask. Not the charming PR queen, not the doting wife on Instagram, just a furious, unraveling woman realizing she'd finally outplayed herself. She left before midnight. 2 suitcases, 1 oversized purse. No goodbye. She didn't even close the door behind her. I waited until I heard her car pull away. Then I walked through every room of the house, slowly, taking it back. Not just the walls or the furniture, the air, the silence, the space. I opened the drawer by the bed and found the bracelet I'd given her just a few days ago, still in the box, unworn. I left it there. Some things aren't worth taking back. The next morning, I got a message from Jason's wife. Just a single line. "Thank you for the truth. I'm burning the rest." I smiled. Later that day, I met with my lawyer. By the time the documents were processed, Madison would walk away with only what she brought into the marriage. That glittering life she flaunted online, gone. Even her friends stopped responding to her messages. No one likes a show-off who doesn't know when to exit the stage. And me? I went to the gym, lifted heavier than I had in months. Each rep pulled something out of me. Grief, anger, pity. By the end of it, I looked in the mirror, and I saw someone returning. A week passed. No texts, no calls, just peace. It's funny how silence can be terrifying at first, then suddenly feel like a warm blanket after a storm. I started sleeping again. Deep, uninterrupted sleep, without the weight of suspicion pressing against my chest. I didn't think about Madison every minute of the day anymore. But when I did, it was different. Not longing, not love, just a quiet awareness of how far I'd let myself drift from who I used to be. The truth is, she hadn't broken me. She'd stripped away my illusions. And beneath all that pain, there was someone stronger, leaner, sharper. I got back to work. Clients noticed something different. "You're more focused, Eric," one of them said. "Whatever changed, keep it." I started running again. Every morning. No distractions. No excuses. Just the rhythm of my feet hitting the pavement and the cold morning air reminding me that I was alive and still writing my story. One afternoon, I opened my email and saw a message from Madison. Subject line, "Can we talk?" I almost deleted it, but curiosity got the better of me. Her message was a mix of guilt and nostalgia. She wrote about memories, trips we took, inside jokes we hadn't shared in years. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She asked for a meeting. I didn't respond, because she wasn't reaching out to heal. She was reaching out to reclaim control, and I'd taken that back already. 2 days later, she showed up outside my office. I saw her through the glass, hair perfect, dressed in beige and gold like nothing had changed. But it had. Everything had. She waited 10 minutes. I never left my desk. Eventually, she gave up and walked away. And with each step she took, I felt lighter. Later that evening, her sister Lauren called me again. "She's spiraling, Eric. Losing friends. Jason dumped her. His wife made sure of it. She's even considering moving back in with her parents." I didn't gloat. I didn't celebrate. I just said, she made her choice. Then I poured myself a drink, lit the fire pit on my balcony, and watched the city glow beneath a velvet sky. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't broken. I was rebuilding. The man she left behind, the one she mocked on stage in front of everyone, was gone. In his place stood someone she'd never get to meet again. And the most satisfying part? She knew it. She knew she lost the war not because I fought dirty, but because I let her fire the first shot. And then I gave her the rope. Now, every time I hear silence, I smile. Because silence, I've learned, is what power sounds like. When you've already won. I stood in front of the mirror, buttoning a new navy blazer, sleek, fitted, unapologetically sharp. The reflection staring back wasn't a man recovering from betrayal. It was a man reborn from it. That Saturday night, I attended a fundraiser downtown, alone. People noticed. Whispers followed. Where's Madison? Didn't they host this event together last year? Isn't that the guy whose wife? I let the murmurs pass through me. No denial. No explanations. I didn't know the world a monologue. The truth was already printed, signed, and legally bound. I was approached by an older man, a respected entrepreneur I'd once advised on portfolio expansion. He shook my hand firmly. You handled it like a gentleman, he said. Most men would have burned the house down. I smiled. That's because I built it with fireproof walls. He laughed. Good. Because she tried to light a match on stage. And that was it. A full circle moment. Madison had tried to destroy me publicly. She thought the mic gave her power. But it turns out, power doesn't come from volume. It comes from preparation. When you know who you are and what you're worth, someone else's betrayal doesn't define you. It exposes them. After the fundraiser, I walked home through the quiet streets. No Uber. No rush. Just me and the soft hum of city lights. At a corner cafe, I saw a couple laughing over wine. The way the woman leaned in, genuinely invested in what the man was saying, it made me pause. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't bitter. I was ready. Ready to love again, but this time, smarter. More grounded. Not out of loneliness, but from wholeness. Back at home, I found the last piece of Madison still in my apartment. A silver photo frame with our wedding picture. It had been sitting on a shelf, untouched, forgotten. I held it in my hands. For a second, I stared at that version of us, naive, smiling, unaware of what would come. Then I opened the back, removed the photo, and placed the empty frame face down in a drawer. I didn't need to burn the memory. I just needed to stop displaying it. That night, before bed, I wrote a short journal entry. Just a few words. You don't heal by waiting for an apology. You heal by choosing yourself. And to any man reading this, anyone who's sitting in silence, watching lies unfold, questioning if they're crazy or if something's really wrong, let me tell you this. Trust your gut. Move in silence. Gather facts, not tears. And when the time comes, don't explode. Execute. Because the loudest revenge is not rage. It's peace. It's reinvention. It's rising so far above their world. They have to Google your name just to feel close to you again. And when they do, let them sit in the silence they tried to drown you in. I did. And I'm never coming back.